Hi guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in this video, I'm going to teach you the secret to effortless hearing with hearing aids. Coming up. I want you to think back to a time in your life where you experienced something that was physically and mentally grueling. For me, it was competing in my first Ironman triathlon, which was 2.4 miles of swimming, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, and capped off with a 26.2-mile marathon. That race took me just under 11 hours to complete, and while I started off feeling really good, by the time I was finished with that race, it made me question whether or not I would ever want to do one again. Unfortunately, living with hearing loss can be very similar, where you wake up at the beginning of the day and you feel nice and fresh and you feel like listening doesn't require a whole lot of effort. However, by the end of the day, listening fatigue can set in, making it significantly more difficult to understand what you're hearing, especially if you finish off the day in a noisy restaurant. But before I explain exactly what causes this to happen and what you can do to prevent it, if you could do me a huge favor and click the like button, I really appreciate it because it helps out my channel immensely. And while you're at it, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button with notification bell, go ahead and do that as well, because that ensures that you never miss one of my newly released videos, and I release multiple new videos every single week. That being said, I really appreciate it, and big shout out to Phonak, today's video sponsor, but more on them in a little bit. Becoming fatigued when attempting to understand speech is something called listening fatigue, and it often occurs for two main reasons. Number one, lack of audibility to sound, and number two, trying to hear that sound through background noise. Lack of audibility of sound is often caused by untreated hearing loss or hearing loss that has not been properly treated with hearing aids. Let's take a look at an audiogram so I can explain to you how hearing loss results in lack of audibility. Here we are looking at a moderate high-frequency sensorineural hearing loss, which is one of the more common hearing losses that is caused by getting older. The blue X's represent the left ear, and the red circles represent the right ear. The further down on the graph you see these symbols, the worse the hearing loss is. The letters on this screen represent where speech information can be heard. Any of these speech sounds that are above the X's or the circles, inside of the shaded gray region, can no longer make it from the ears to the brain due to this particular type and severity of hearing loss. Any of this speech information located below the X's and the circles can make it to the brain despite the hearing loss. To recap, any of these speech components that are above the X's and the circles are not audible, and any of these speech components that are below the X's and the circles are audible. So why did I just take all of this time to explain this to you? Well, basically, living with untreated hearing loss means that you're trying to solve a Wheel of Fortune phrase with only some of the letters filled in on the board. This means that you have to expend a lot of energy to try to figure out exactly what letters are missing so you can interpret what someone is saying to you. After a while of constantly trying to guess what someone is saying by filling in the missing information on your own, it leads to a significant amount of listening fatigue. Of course, the best way to ensure that you receive access to the missing speech information is to make sure that you are wearing hearing aids that have been programmed properly and verified with real ear measurement to restore those missing speech components back to your brain. Once these sounds are restored back to your brain, you no longer have to use mental energy to try to figure out what the heck people are saying. However, this is just the first cause of listening fatigue. The second cause of listening fatigue is adding complexity to your listening situation. Even if you have access to all of these speech components, if you start to increase the complexity of your listening situation by adding in background noise, it significantly increases the amount of listening effort that you have to exert. Just think of the last time that you were in a restaurant. I would bet that when you first started the meal, you could strain to be able to hear the people that you wanted to hear, even though there was a substantial amount of background noise. But as the night went on, I'm guessing that you ended up withdrawing from the conversation because the amount of effort that it required to actually hear other people was just too much for you to handle. That is when you know that listening fatigue has set in. The good news is Phonak, today's video sponsor, has a full suite of features known as smart speech technology inside of their Lumity line of hearing aids that have been specifically designed to help you hear your best and reduce your listening effort. Phonak has been hard at work for the past several years developing technologies that you can use to improve your hearing ability and combat the negative effects of background noise. Their full suite of 8 smart speech features have been specifically designed to help you in a variety of different ways. First is Speech Sensor. This particular feature was designed to optimize your speech understanding from your sides and from behind you when you are in a background noise situation. Second is Speech Enhancer. This particular feature has been designed to help improve your audibility of soft level speech in quiet environments. So if you know someone who's a soft talker, or you know someone who likes to talk to you from across the room, this particular feature can give you access to their voice. Third is a feature called Stereo Zoom 2.0. Now, Phonak has always had a version of Stereo Zoom inside of their hearing aids for a while now, but with the Lumity hearing aids, they have updated it to the 2.0 version. And this creates a microphone configuration that will adjust, and it will adjust much more smoothly than older versions of Phonak hearing aids to give you more natural hearing in noisy environments. Fourth is dynamic noise cancellation. This particular feature cancels out background noise so you can better focus on speeches coming from in front of you as well. Fifth is motion sensor hearing. All of the Lumity rechargeable hearing aids have a motion sensor embedded inside of them. This motion sensor will tell your hearing aids whether or not you're stationary or on the move, and it can configure your hearing aid microphones accordingly for you to hear better in those particular situations. Sixth is a feature called Ultra Zoom. Now, this is extreme microphone directionality. So when you're in a really noisy environment, Ultra Zoom will kick in and it will focus exactly on the person that you are looking at and try to kill as much of the background noise as possible. Seventh is Activent receiver technology. Now, these particular receivers are available for the Paradise and Lumity rechargeable hearing aids. The vents on these receivers open and close depending on what you want to try to hear. So if you're in a quiet situation, the vents will remain open to give you more of a natural listening experience. But if you end up going into a noisy situation or you want to start streaming music, those vents will snap shut, which will improve your ability to hear in a background noise situation and make streaming quality substantially better from your phone or your tablet. If you have not heard about Activent receivers until right now, then I highly recommend that you check out my video that I will link in the description, which will explain everything that you need to know about Activent receivers and whether or not they're right for you. And the eighth and final feature inside of Smart Speech is Roger technology. Now, you have likely heard me talking about Roger microphone technology before, because anytime that you can stream audio directly from a Roger device into both of your Phonak hearing aids, it is a complete game changer when it comes to hearing better in a background noise situation with significantly reduced listening effort. I will go ahead and link some additional videos in the description about Roger technology as well, because you really should learn about Roger On-IN and Roger Select-IN if you tend to struggle in background noise situations. Overall, if you use a properly fit and programmed Lumity hearing aid, not only will it improve your audibility to speech, but it will also significantly improve your ability to hear in background noise, which will both reduce your listening effort substantially. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So if you ask a triathlete what the secret is to starting and finishing a race strong, they will tell you better preparation. And this advice is no different when it comes to hearing better with less listening effort. The better prepared that you are with hearing aids that have been properly programmed to your hearing loss prescription to ensure audibility, and the better your hearing aid technology is to help enhance your ability to understand speech and reduce the exhaustive effects of background noise on your listening effort, the less you will have to strain throughout your day so you can focus on hearing with as little effort as possible. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please share it. And if you want to see other videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to check out my website, hearingup.com.